Welcome to Fangirl Diaries. This is your fangirl host with the most, Danny. And let's get into today's entry. So here's the thing, Lilia. Ain't he a handsome man? He is. Ben Grimm is a handsome man. I don't know why I started it like that, but here's the thing. I'm gonna do this. That's going to be my thing now. The kids here are going to hate it. But did you know... Well, actually, you don't know because you've never actually seen this show. But the show we're going to talk about today, the burger shop that's in it is an actual burger shop in Thailand. I think it's like a diner. Yeah, it's because in the show it's like specifically a burger joint, and then I think in Thailand it's a diner. I looked it up. I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes outside of Bangkok. If I do get to go to Bangkok, that is like one of the things I want to go do, is have a burger at the shop while wearing the t-shirt. I'm sure the people that work there, I've never seen that happen before. Oh my God. I'm going to walk in, they're going to be like, ugh, another one. And then charge me like $40 for a burger. And you know what? I would completely understand. Like, do you. Damn, that's loud. So we're doing the heart killers this episode. It's a quick intro because I kind of just want to get into it. This is going to be hopefully not a super long one, but I will say for the agenda is that not only are we going to discuss the show, but I am going to bring up that I had the privilege of going to the fan meet that happened last year by GMM and Starstruck Media. It's going to be fun because I'm going to explain how it kind of wasn't the best at all. So let's get to it. All right, so it's going to be a long one. This synopsis is... It's 2 paragraphs long. I really want to know who writes I'm assuming someone writes the synopsis for my drama list. I don't think it's one person. I know there's a volunteer page, but sometimes these synopses are great. Sometimes they're not so great. I feel like we need to work on that, my drama list. But here, before we start, I will say the release date for this was November 20th, 2024, with it ending on February 12th, 2024. So we're kind of close to the 1-year anniversary. I think we're off by like a week. And I think this one had a delayed episode release, so it would have actually ended a week earlier. But I think I want to say an earthquake or something happened. So, but this is like, I think our first show that might have ended in 2024. I'd have to check that. It was 12 episodes. It's on 2 different streaming services, both of which I had. And it stars 2 of my favorite couples from GMN. So we'll talk about that later. So, synopsis time. Ooh. Tattooist Kant works as a spy for the police. When he's tasked to investigate a pair of gunman brothers, he finds that one of them is a one-night stand that hasn't been able to forget, Bison. I feel like that's not right. The 2 assassins own a hamburger shop. Kant goes there and focuses efforts on charming Bison into giving up information. When his attempts are thwarted by Bison's scary, protective older brother, Fadel, he hires someone who can take him on. He enlists the help of his handsome best friend Style, who's a pain in the neck and not afraid of anything. Mechanic Style once rear-ended Fadel and they fought. Kant promises Style the car he'd had his eye on if he can win Fadel's heart. If his mission is successful, Kant's been promised a clean criminal record so he can start a new life. That was a fucking mouthful. Some notes. The line he had, one night stand he hasn't been able to forget, he forgets about it. He like wakes up, right? It's a very sexy hotel room. I was like, damn, that was a nice hotel room. Very red room, very sexy. But he's like, whatever on it. He only it like clicks to him like when they're in the police station and he shows the photo. It's not like he hasn't forgotten about him. It's more or less like, it's not like he was like, oh my God, this might be the love of my life type forget. It's more or less like, that dude was hot. I wish we would have fucked again type feeling. I'm not kidding you. That's the vibe I got. Kent's my least favorite out of the 4, by the way. He pissed me off. And then I love that they don't mention that the car that he's had his eye on is Kent's dad's car. Okay. Clean record to start a new life. He had a new life. It's just the police are kind of fucking assholes. Run by a white man, of all things. So it's not surprised that they're like corrupt. So before we get to this story is an adaptation of William Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew. It is also slightly loosely based on 10 Things I Hate About You, which is another loosely based adaptation of The Taming of the Shrew. I will note that the only reason that this is stated on certain things to be based on 10 Things I Hate About You is because they do a paintball scene. So because that's like from the movie. They have to state that. I just thought that was kind of... Oh, actually, it's the paintball scene. And then if you've watched 10 Things, which we did do an episode on, either we've released it or it's going to be released soon, next week. Look out for it. I guess we'll talk about it now a little bit, that there is a scene in which Patrick, who in this case is Style, I'll mention all the characters in a second, does like a performance number on a pair of staircases. And Style does kind of do that. So I guess like those two scenes, there might have been more, but those are like the two that really stand out for me. So because this is a Taming of the Shrew adaptation, I will say in terms of character-wise, Kant is Cameron. Bison is Bianca. And then Fadel is Katerina. And then Style is Patrick. I do find it funny that Kant and Bison are the only two that names kind of somewhat match the names of their characters. Kind of, I don't know. I do like the name Fadel though. The way they say it, they go, Fadel. I'm like, damn, that's sexy. Like, but then again, Dunk is a not Dunk. Jung is a sexy man. Dunk is too. He's also sexy. So just so that I don't think we did this for the 10 Things I Hate About You episode, but we'll do this here. So I kind of want to explain what the Taming of the Shrew is about to kind of get a better understanding of what this adaptation, and if you listen to next week's episode, adaptation is about or based on. So the Taming of the Shrew was one of Shakespeare's earliest comedies. It centers on the courtship of headstrong Katerina by the fortune hunting Petruchio Patrick, who aims to tame her into a submissive wife, while her younger sister Bianca's suitors vies for a hand, leading to a play filled with witty banter, disguise, and social commentary on marriage and gender roles. Basically, this play has not aged well. Okay, it has not. There's a reason why the adaptations kind of like work around this, and I will say the one thing that's kept consistent is the fact that Kat is always like headstrong. When she's played by a female, they always make her like a headstrong feminist, which is what happens in 10 Things. But in this one, he's kind of just, Fadel is just like a headstrong, like no shits type of dude, which like I guess works. So, this show was something else. I think this is one of the first GMM shows that I kind of watched as this was airing. My first GMM show I think was like One D Good Day, and I kind of caught into that like 3 or 4 episodes in. But this one I think might have been one of the first I kind of was watching like as it aired, if I remember correctly. It's really good. First Cow, Jun Dunk, I fall in love with both couples. I really would love for them to be in another series together because they work so well together. So Kant works for the police. It is kind of fucked up, kind of how all that goes about, in my opinion, because you got homeboy daddy white man cop, who, by the way, appeared in like an earlier series that I had watched. Like one of my first series was called OMG Vampire. It's a terrible series, but the first time I watched that and this man popped up on the screen, he's like not in it as much as he is in The Heart Killers. I remember just being like, what's this white dude doing here? I kind of forget that, like, you know, that could happen. Like people can just go overseas to pursue careers in like entertainment. And I was just like, this is a white man. He owns a weed shop, by the way. He like owns a weed dispensary in Thailand. So it's like he does acting in this. I thought, you know, good for him. His name is I think it's either Peter or Patrick. I'm not gonna look it up. So basically the story is that Kant robbed cars. He's a tattooist. He is left to raise his little brother because their parents died in a plane crash when they were little. And I know, right? It's like really sad. And funny enough, he was in the plane that his parents die in because it crashes in water. And like either, I don't know if it's stated because it's been a while since I've seen it, that his parents, his mom might have saved him by like putting him, or he like got on a raft and was like saved because he didn't drown. But he has this like eternal fear of like water. And it becomes an important part later once his like relationship with Bison progresses. But basically, he kind of like very clearly, when they're kind of low on their luck, he steals a car and sells it parts for money, and is basically threatened to go to jail. He's like arrested, and then I can't remember if they state that maybe there wasn't like consistent like evidence or something, but he either gets out of jail early or he gets out of jail. And and the cops kind of like keep him on like a short leash where they're like, if you do these things for us, we won't reopen these cases because we know there might have been more, something like that. And I think it's kind of fucked that they enlist the help of a dude who is raising his brother by himself. Mind you, his brother is in high school, so still a minor, to investigate a pair of assassins. Like, you're asking this dude to be murdered and his brother to become like an orphan. Like, kind of messed up. So I hate Shakespeare. God, I hate Shakespeare. I'm not the biggest Shakespeare fan, as you can tell. I don't think I've ever, or at least have no memory of reading The Taming of the Shrew word for word. But I do know that in most, I feel like if we're looking at 10 things, Cameron is kind of seen as like not the popular guy. He's not as like suave and cool. And I think in the original play, it's multiple suitors that Bianca has. So like basically in the original play, the reason why Petruchio is forced to or is tasked to marry Caterina is because their father states that the only way that the beautiful Bianca can finally get married is if her sister gets married, because Caterina's older. So she's considered to be like a, what's the word I'm looking for older women at that time? All I could think about is the way they say it in Bridgerton, where Louise is like, I've been put on the shelf. And I love that as a term. Old maid. She's an old maid. I guess it would be the right way to put it. What is
matron?
No.
Beldam?
No.
A dame?
No. What did you Google?
Word for oldest, I guess sister then?
You should have put Google, keep this in by the way. You should put word for women in olden times who were older and unmarried. I didn't say a lot of words. Or did I?
Spinster?
Yes! I'm so sorry. Spencer. We figured it out. I don't remember the point I was making, to be honest with you.
Bianca the Spencer?
No, it's Caterina.
Caterina, something like that you said.
I don't remember.
I'm going to keep this all in.
Yeah. Let's just move on from this point. So I lost my train of thoughts after all of that. So yeah, so basically he gets tasked to look into these assassins. I will say I do love that it opens with Kant being this player and he's hanging out with Bison. And it's one of those things where I love about Tybee is that I always have to nitpick something stupid because there's always something that I have to nitpick. So it opens on... I'm going to finish the Kant thing. So it does open on Bison and Fadel on a mission where Bison pretends to be a callboy. It's really silly. And I'm like, yeah, if it's like, it's Chef Kiss. I love the scene. It's funny. He's a callboy. This older gentleman comes into like this brothel type place and like picks him to be the boy that he's going to have for the night. And then they murder him because apparently they work for this woman who claims she is killing people who are bad. And it's really confusing as to how she got these two boys, but we'll get to that later. So basically, they're at a bowling alley, and Kant is looking for his next piece of ass, I guess. We're enough minutes in where I can say that. And he sets his eyes on Kant, and they hook up. And it's very sexy. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the two that ended up being on the first season of Only Friends. It would be a shame if they weren't super sexy. I want to watch more. I need to watch more series with these two because I love them. And I just, I can't get over me screaming over Spencer. I'm sorry. So he gets tasked to do it. And in true Taming of the Shrew fashion, he finds out where Kant works. And Kant's surprised to see him there because obviously there's that whole rule where their quote-unquote mother doesn't want them to date because it'll lead to distractions or whatever. And he tells Kant that the only way they could be together is if they have a distraction on Fadel. And he decides, I don't know why, I can't remember why they're like, I don't think I wrote this in my notes, as to why they decide to get like, I said dunk when it's style, to like date him as if that would be a good idea. I think it was because Bison realized that his brother has never been in a relationship, quote unquote, but we find out later he kind of has, and it didn't end well enough, and that's why he's not into relationships. But in the first scene where they're all kind of meeting each other, what confused me was the timeline, because we have Dunk and Kant at this bowling alley. Dunk decides to leave because Kant is too distracted trying to find like someone to sleep with that night because he's a player, whatever. He sets his eyes on Kant, who's there. Not Kant, Bison. But what confuses me is that 2 scenes beforehand, Bison and Fadel had just finished their little job for the night. How far away was this job from the bowling alley that they finished the job, put the dead body in the trunk, only for him to get to the bowling alley? Style leaves, gets in his car, starts driving, and somehow Fadel took Lord knows how long to get also on the road, because Fadel and Style end up like, he rear ends Fadel. So I'm like, the timeline here is really confusing, because I'm like, that's really fast. Like, was it minutes? Was it hours? Like, how far away are these? It's always those little things from like shows like this that I nitpick that bothers me, because I notice it and I just can't get over it. I can't. But I digress. I will say the one good thing about this show, if we're going to talk about the actors really quick, it shows off Dunk's little slutty waist. My boy's he's got the cutest little, like, slutty. I'm wearing their couple shirt, and he wears it like a crop top. He wears it well. Very sexy. I love him. I will say I did not understand that after the show had finished, a lot of people were criticizing his acting. And I think it's just, I don't think they were criticizing the acting because of like the fact that it's supposed to be the Taming of the Shrew. It's very clear that they were just like, oh, he's not funny. But I will say that for an adaptation of the Taming of the Shrew, he really took this character that's known for being like the masculine, like, hoo-ha type character in the original play, and playing him in such a unique way that still keeps like what makes the character so beloved. Like, it's not like he's playing a beat for beat of Heath Ledger, but that charm that Heath Ledger had, I feel like Dunk does it in his own special way, you know, and it's really out there, and I love it. And then dealing with like Katarina in this version of being Fadel, Dunk is kind of more like aggressive because obviously they're assassins, and I don't want to compare too much to 10 Things, but I will because it's like the one that they kind of connect to the most. Julia Stiles is very much this angry person, her version of Katarina. Although the one thing I wish they would have done, and they don't really do it until after they kind of get together, is that I wish there would have been more scenes of them. I mean, I guess they go to like a rock concert, like a rock bar, like a punk rock type bar, but it's very clear that Fadel doesn't really loosen up as much. Whereas in 10 Things, it's like a fun teen club and she's kind of dancing and loose with friends. He's kind of by himself. So I kind of wish they kind of would have done a little bit more where he's kind of like not with friends, but at least not as uptight. I don't know. In terms of like chemistry, I will give this. All 4 couples really did give good chemistry. My one gripe is that I was more into, and this is more or less nothing to do with the actors themselves. I think this just happens a lot whenever I watch anything with the Taming of the Shrew. I was more interested in the Fadel style storyline than I was the Bison Kant, which makes sense because their counterparts are the main characters. So, yeah. Production-wise, the show was really well done. I thought, you know, they handled a lot of different scenes. There were little, like, bits and pieces. Like, Kant's brother in the first couple episodes actually reads a lot of Shakespeare. I love that that's, like, a nod to, like, hey, this is a Shakespeare adaptation thing. I thought that was really good. His tattoos sucked, though. Kant's tattoos did not look right. They kind of looked head off. I wish they would have fixed that. It just looked weird. So little things there. To go back to a point from earlier, Kant was my least favorite because he was a terrible friend. Really a terrible friend. Because how are you going to ask your friend to be like, hey, I want to date this dude. I know I've always been a player, but I'm into this guy now. And the only way I can date him is if his older brother goes on a date. So can you, and I'll give you my dad's car if you're successful, pursue him and get him to date you. but not mention until after they get together that, hey, by the way, they're assassins. They kill people for a living. So if you piss him off, he might kill you. Like, he pissed me off when he did that. And I felt bad for Bison, because Bison was falling for him, and they had so many like little mini adventures together. Like, poor Babe. So Kant's little brother, I think his name was like Babe. I love Thai names. They're so Thai nicknames. They're also like random. So Babe, I keep saying Babe, and why should it not be Babe? Me looking through the list to make sure it's Babe. Yep, Babe. He has been struggling in school because he's been getting bullied a lot. Some of his bullies have been like accusing him and his friends of being gay. And apparently one of the teachers, this threw me off when this happened in the series. So I was like, why is this scene happening? Why did we need this scene? Like, I'm assuming it's to get Bison and Kant closer together. But they do this whole scene where it turns out the teacher that's been taunting Babe is a pedophile. Is in a whole relationship with a student. I was like, why did we do this? A little thrown off. And then in that exact same scene, White Daddy Cop shows up because his son is enlisted in the school. This show kind of like went all over the place. So Kant's a terrible person. But at least he cares for his brother. I think that's what really, like, when you do things like that, kind of makes you look at the cops and be like, wow, you guys really suck that you're forcing this dude to basically uphold his whole life, risk his whole life, force his friend because he needs to get this done. Also, you can get this information, and you're risking his little brother to become an orphan. Like, look how bad his little brother is dealing with shit. So, I will say one negative I had about this show. So, I'm not too inverse on BDSM. There's a lot of things I'm not very clear on. Lily is like, where's this going? I know that, like, we haven't had many good examples in, like, media. Like, 50 Shades of Grey is not a good example of, like, proper BDSM relationships. So in the series, Kant finds out that Bison is really into BDSM. Don't worry. It gets to a point. So he likes rough play. So when it comes to relationships like this, you have to have consent is key. Consent is king. You should always consent things. I mean, I guess this adds to like, they have a safe word. It's penguin. So yeah, I don't remember why. But it's very clear that Kant is only doing this to let Bison be happy and trying to get closer to him. So he's really uncomfortable. So he's consenting, but not really consenting, because he's doing this for fun. And I really feel like that's not a good thing to be showing. Like, if you're not comfortable with something, please make sure you're informing your partner. Don't just do whatever they want just because they want to do it. Be safe. It was kind of just weird. But the word penguin becomes like important because I will say towards the end of the series, and I know I'm going to focus on one couple and then focus on the other. So, you know, they get closer and closer, and then when it's discovered, Bison is a really jealous motherfucker, which is kind of not surprising considering he's into BDSM. When I say gets jealous easily, one of Kant's lovers, hookups, whatever you want to call them, kind of meets up with him to like get a tattoo because he's tattooist or whatever it was. Bison gets really jealous to the point where he's like ready to murder this guy for getting near his man. And when all that's happening, he's following Kant, because Kant goes to make sure that this dude doesn't get murdered. He sees Kant talking to the police, and he goes all fucking cuckoo. And I'm going to go back to the scene when I talk about Fadel and Sal, and I'm going to go really quick on it. There is a scene right as it's happening where all four of them are at the bowling alley where they met. Because by this point, their relationship has progressed. They're boyfriends now. And there's like this really sweet scene where like they dance together at the bowling alley. Like they're part of a dance competition and they win an award. It's so cute. I love it. I was like, oh, this is so sweet. It makes me so sad because he's so happy. So they go to the bowling alley for like this one last date. For Kant and Style, it's a last date because they know the police are about to arrest them. And then for Fadel and Bison, it's because they know they're going to have to murder them because they find out the lie. And this random dude gets jealous because he thinks his girlfriend has moved on, cheated on him, whatever it was. And Bison gets shot and ends up in the hospital. And the police are honing in on them. And he takes that moment to kidnap Kant, right? So we find out that Bison and Fadel are orphans from like rich families. So I'm going to get to Lily in a second. So he takes Kant to his family's like private island or private resort, whatever it was. And he's about to shoot him. And as he's sitting there, he says the safe word. He goes off and is like, penguin. And he's like thrown off because like, I can't shoot him because we have this relationship. And I'm like, motherfucker, he lied to you. What the fuck? It was so awkward. I don't know. I just thought it was like, it just felt awkward to me. Again, their relationship wasn't one that I was like too crazy following. They get together after that, and it's all like, oh, happy, sweet, because they're together, and then everything in the ending happens. So their relationship was cute. I'm just like the whole BDSM scene. I'm just like, it is kind of like not cool to see because you see, like he gets Bison like really drunk. So there are scenes where they're having like sex, which I already am just like not into the fact that he's having sex with this dude drunk, but Bison's like in control and he's like the dom in the situation and he's like having him do this stuff and he's just doing it so that he can get this information. He's clearly not comfortable. Like it shows it in his face. Like there's a scene in the tattoo shop where he takes was it not pin cushions, but you know when the laundry, when you put them outside and you use the what are they called?
I forgot.
But you know what I'm talking about. You know when you hang your laundry outside on the clothing line, the clothing pins? We'll call them clothing pins. He puts them on his nipples. And he's clearly very uncomfortable. So it's like, what do we learn here? Consent. Now to quickly move on to my favorite couple. So Fadel. I love that name and style. What to say about them? Style's a motherfucker. I love him. He will pursue a man like no other. Like when I say he pursues, he follows Fadel everywhere. Like he does the thing on the staircase when he's like running track. He follows him to the meat packing district where he's like buying meat for the burger shop. There's literally a scene in the burger shop where like at this point he's been flirting a lot with Fadel, messing with him at the burger place because Bison is run off to go flirt with Kant because of course, and he's like helping out the shop or causing a disturbance, and he goes into the kitchen and Fadel just gets annoyed with him but pushes him on the like counter and then uses the scissors he uses to cook with to cut open the shirt, and it's really sexy and I'm like, oh, okay, but I'm also just like, that's not sanitary. That is not sanitary, but it's silly. It's funny. And then, what else about these two? Obviously, you mentioned it's kind of funny because Style and Kant lie a lot about themselves to kind of make their men happy. Like he goes to this rock, they go to this like punk rock bar or like this metal, I guess more of a metal bar, not a punk bar, where Fadel kind of hangs out a lot. And he goes to these concerts, he dresses up, and he reveals like he's not really into this music. He just went because he was trying to get close to Fadel. And it's like sweet and everything, even though we know they're kind of like pranking. But I do love how the relationship kind of develops. It's really cute. It's really sweet. And it's kind of sad because we find out that Fadel had a boyfriend years before. And the only reason they're not together anymore is because he believes that his ex-boyfriend ran off because he didn't want to be with someone who was like in this business. And then we later find out that actually he was murdered. But they are like the sexier couple. I don't know. I just thought that they were like, maybe because they weren't having to deal with like creepy teachers or like the weird BDSM thing. Oh, I will say one of the most iconic scenes in the show, it made me laugh because I'll talk, it's had to do with the fan meet later on. Second episode. So after Style starts flirting with Fadel, you could tell Fadel's got a thing for him because at the end of episode 2, it literally ends with Homeboy in his bedroom having a moment with himself, thinking about, because they go to a sauna, because one of the things he does like daily is treat himself to a sauna, which I'm like, yes, treat yourself, treat yourself to a spa day. But because Style goes and is not wearing any clothes besides a towel and they start flirting, whatever, he imagines that and helps himself. And I just remember watching the scene being like, first off, he was not very comfortable. He was sitting on his bed with his jeans on. Go under the covers. You're by yourself. Your brother's in another room drunkenly dancing with his trophy. Be comfortable when you do this. I don't know why you so uncomfortable. I don't know. It was like the one thing that I was like, my guy, get yourself all nice and cozy if you're gonna do that. Listen. I'm here for positive sex reinforcement. So to kind of skip forward and talk about like towards like the kidnapping, obviously much like Kant and Bison, he is also just as angry to hear that Style had done this. But instead of him kidnapping Style, he basically kidnaps Style to go find Bison and Kant because Kant obviously runs out. He's like off hinge. And there's this whole plot line where they bump into like this couple who are like engaged, but one of them keeps cheating on the other one, and Fadel gets really pissed because he's like, see, this is why relationships don't work type thing. And the entire time Style is just trying to flirt with him, to the point where homeboy literally gives up his entire family, names and addresses, just so that Fadel will forgive him. And at one point tries to sleep with him while he's being kidnapped. And I'm like, you know what? Respect. Listen, if a sexy man like have you seen Jung? You should look him up. Look him up. He's sexy. He's like beautiful. Like when we met him, when I met him at the fan meet, I was a little sad because of like how the day was going. It didn't seem like he was in the best mood, but my God, is he beautiful up close? So beautiful. He's the third one. Click it. He is handsome. I wouldn't mind a piece of that. Lily's like, what's wrong with me? So this is one of those shows where like I just don't want to go beat for beat. There's a lot of funny moments. I think there's like a moment where they make an impreg joke, and it is Fadel. Yeah. So Fadel goes to like this it's a Grief Anonymous group where they talk about, are you looking did you look him up? I wish you guys could see Lilia. I just told you to look his face. She Googled him and he's like, Google Photos. My favorite thing is that the first photo you clicked on was him completely shirtless.
Was him the selfie?
Uh-huh.
I just happened to scroll down, okay?
And there was him completely. Was he wet in that photo? What photo? That one, right? Can you click on that one? Let me see it. Where's that from? I think it says Oh Dream Boy official page. What is this? Oh, it's an Instagram. He's really pale in that photo. I feel like he's like a little more tanner, but that could just be me. It might have been on the show. He's a little more tanner. Yeah, he's really cute. He's in a boy group called Jasper. I think that we went on a whole rant on doing. He's my favorite. I love him. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so he goes through a grief counseling. I guess obviously for his ex or just for his parents or whatever it is, and they hook up. Because Style goes crying about his dog, which is like him just. I think he's honest about it, but he's kind of using that. So they hook up afterwards, and at the end of them hooking up, I will never not laugh at this scene. He literally says, "Are you not going to take responsibility for what you've just done?" And he basically is like, "What, are you pregnant?" He goes, "I could be." The amount of preg jokes, can I just say, I find it crazy to me that. I don't want to get too much into the Pip Babe thing. We will eventually do an episode on Pip Babe. But Pip Babe is such mostly alpha, like, focused type show. Like, we have the enigmas, but it's really, they don't really touch on the Mpreg stuff at all. And we've only really had, like, Desire, which is, like, this is a Chinese BL. They also don't go fully into it. But the fact that we have to wait for Not before we get a proper Thai BL is sad for me. I would love to see Jung and Dunk in a Omegaverse type series where Dunk is Mpreg. I think he'd be so down for it. Oh my God, these two make me laugh. So much like Bison and Kant, they make up. It takes a little longer for those two because obviously he's not just being betrayed by Style. It's the fact that he's betrayed by his brother. Like, he makes it very clear to his brother, like, I wanted to be left alone. I just wanted to live my life. So it's the other big point of the show is that throughout the entire series, they work for this woman who trains children to be assassins when they get older. I don't understand how she got these two, considering they're supposed to be from like well-off families. But they're kind of stuck in this business, and Fadel keeps promising Bison that, the next job I will tell her that, you want to time off, that we will take time off. Obviously, this woman's not going to let them. But he makes it very clear that he just wants to be left alone. Like, he didn't want any of this. After everything he's been through, he just, he's willing to help his brother, but he didn't need to be betrayed like this. And he's hurt the most. And it's really sad because he's been through a lot. But they make up, they get together, and then they join forces to get rid of their mother, whose name is Lily, because they find out that apparently, who they thought was the big bad wasn't the big bad. She is. She's kind of been, I guess, killing off her competition. And they do this whole elaborate scheme only for them not to kill her. Because both Kat and Sally are like, you guys have to put away your killing ways. And I'm like, no, kill the bitch. What the fuck? And then they go to jail. Oh yeah, they go to jail for 5 years. And I think this happens after. So this is what throws me off. They don't kill her. They go to jail for 5 years. They come out of jail, and then homegirl kidnaps them. They kidnaps Kant and stuff, because apparently she's still alive. And 5 years in jail, they're going through it. In jail, Fadel tries to make Style move on, and I'm like, homeboy, he's in it for life. Also, like, they end up hooking up a lot in jail, which was kind of like crazy to me how the guards just didn't notice. Like, or I guess because they asked White Daddy Cop to like let them into the jail to teach classes. So I'm assuming the only reason why the guards were like not the wiser, maybe because it was kind of obvious, was because, I don't know. It was kind of just crazy to me that they were having sex in the jail. But they get out of jail, and homegirl kidnaps Kant's brother, Styles' dad. Then they find out that, hey, your loved ones have been dating assassins. And then they finally decide to kill her. I did not see the point in having an entire episode, an entire scene, where they're like, we're not going to kill her. And then we waste an entire finale where they go to jail, and then they get out, only for them to kill her. And they live happily ever after. Kat and Bison go to see the Northern Lights, and then Jung and Dunk continue to run the burger shop because he really likes running the burger shop. And that's kind of the end of the series. So I will say it's one of my favorite shows because I do love watching it a lot, and I feel like it's a better Shakespeare adaptation. Like, it's a really good one. Kind of stuff that's not more well known, but it was some fun, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I would love to see them again, these four together in another series. I really would love to see them in another series. It was just so good. It was so much fun. So for my rating for this show, I feel like I covered most points. It's really well done. I love the merch for this show. I want to point out, I own 3 items from this show before we continue. I own the pin, the hat, and I own a t-shirt, which I'm wearing right now. I love this shirt. So if you watch the show, they do like the date night episode. I think they do 2 date night episodes. The one where they get shot, I think is the second time they all meet up. But the first time, it's like a double date, and he makes them wear couple shirts. Kat and Bison is wearing a blue one, and then Fadel and Sal is wearing a red one. I own the Fadel style one. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 6. I wasn't... Wait, what?
Just say a 7 out of 6?
Oh! I didn't realize I did. It's my new rating system. Didn't I tell you?
I saw you know I'm paying attention.
I know. I'm proud of you. I should throw those in there every once in a while. Keep it in. A 7 out of 10. It's a great show. There are some things that I'm like, okay. No show's ever going to be perfect. It's a fun one. I think it's one of those shows where it's a lot of episodes. That last episode was not as necessary. I feel like there was a lot they could have cut out that they could have just cleared up in the episode beforehand. Like killing her off. It really should have ended with them in the jail and then getting out of jail. Having to bring this woman back made no sense to me. They could have just killed her off. They literally could have had them be like, okay, we will stop killing after we kill her because fuck this bitch. Because keeping her alive made no sense. It's frustrating. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Or 7 out of 6, as I like to say. So
7 out of 6 would imply that it's a good rating because it's over 6.
I mean, 7 out of 10 is still a good rating. It's only 3 away from 10.
Yeah, but 7 out of 6 is like saying it's great.
You don't think the show's great?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Well, you should.
But 7 out of 6 is not the same as 7 out of 10.
Is this catching on the mic?
Yes.
Okay, good. Lily has a grumpy pants. So, now that we've gone through the episode in my weird way, I would like to discuss just rather quickly my experience at the fan meet, because that was like, I think that was announced right before the show ended or after, I can't remember. So it happened in July of last year. It was like July 12th that I went. It was called The Heart Killers Escape to the Americas. So there was 2 stops. Not really even 2 stops. I think the other stop was like in Mexico. And then like this was the only US stop was New York. I'm so like great because it's been such a while that all of my anger towards what happened that day has kind of gone away, but it's just more of an annoyance now. So the fan meet was hosted by Starstruck Media. And for those of you who know, Starstruck has so far done 2 official fan meets. This one included. The other one was a Dao Off-Road, which I did go to. I didn't get any VIP like things for it. This was done in a venue, I can't remember where. It was somewhere in Manhattan. It was not a great day. It had nothing to do with John Dunk or First Cow. They were super pleasant. I will say it was really hard for us to find out afterwards that First was sick. And I don't think anyone has used that as an excuse as to everything that happened. What had happened that day, none of that had to do with him being sick. I feel like we may have been more forgiven at the time if we had been told earlier, but even then, a lot of what happened was preventable. Even it was likely going to happen even if he hadn't been sick. So I had 2nd tier VIP. There was like I think 4 tiers. This is me going off memory because I don't really want to look everything up. There was 4 tiers. There was like a top VIP. I had like been able to get like VIP. No, there was VIP, VVIP, and I think there was like an ultimate VIP. That's what I'm trying to remember. They were all at different like levels. When you had done the down off-road, they had basically told us to sign up at the time for their mailing list, because at the time it meant that like, oh, if you you can be the first to like get like a pre-sale type thing. That shit was insane. They didn't use Ticketmaster. I think the Mexico stop used Ticketmaster. But I want to point out, when you got into ticketing, right, that's just to start off with that, the map was backwards. So if you jumped in, thought you were going to get VIP because it was going to be right at the front of the stage, it wasn't. It was all the way to the back. I was very fortunate that I had gone with a friend, and we had been very fortunate to have gotten VVIP. But here's the thing. We didn't even get VVIP the first time around. We only got general admission tickets, which I think all of them eventually were given high touch benefits. We waited to see if after the pre-sale, if during the general sale, there'd be VIP tickets, because we really wanted a chance to like meet them and all that. There were. So it was kind of weird how like, we went through all this trouble. Why not just put all the VIPs like in it? It seemed like everyone had mailing listing. So that was already like a start to like the red flag thing. And then there was like just crazy things of like, they offered where you could pay this amount to take a photo with one couple or the other, right? So it was like a Polaroid. And we were just like, why are they adding so many benefits? This is going to be a long ass fucking day already, because we had high touch, the show, Q&A, like a sound check. So it's like, this is already a long day and you're adding more, because there's different levels of the high touch. So there was a VIP, then there was the photos. So we get to the venue, we got there a little early, and checking in wasn't a problem. Checking in was like annoying, because I checked in and I said to them, hey, I bought 2 tickets. I have 2 tickets for me and my friend. They go, is your friend here? And I'm like, no, she's on her way though. She goes, okay, I will give you the bring your friend back and I'll give her your VIP benefit. I was like, for why? Like, what was the point of that? Considering I was like, there were multiple people I had known who accidentally had bought like 2 tickets, 3 tickets. I think one person got stuck with 5 tickets for some reason. So they had like multiple benefits and posters. Because you guys like a signed poster and everything. Some people got to do like a meet and greet. So I was like, I didn't get the point of waiting for my friend when it was my name on the thing. But I digress. I think soundcheck, we were supposed to go in at noon. It got delayed. It took forever to get in. And then as we're walking and going through security, we're not being told anything. It turns out soundcheck was a free-for-all. They were like, you can run in and sit anywhere. What was the point of us paying? Mind you, I think our tickets were like $300 each to pick certain seats. And I'll never understand this because they're not the first people to do this. But when certain venues do like and sound check and they don't allow you to sit in your designated sound check seat. Like I paid for a specific seat. Like I will say this. So I done sound check for Key recently. I found out a couple years ago. So I had fallen a couple years back and I didn't have insurance at the time. This pertains to the story. They had never healed properly. I had a badly injured leg. And then I found out years ago that actually one of my legs is shorter than the other. So it's kind of sometimes hard for me to stand for a long time. So I was really grateful that the people at the Key concert here in New York allowed me to sit in accessible seating because I do sometimes need that. And it was near the front. There was like an area. But had that been someone, see, and mind you, VIP for Key was kind of one of those things where like it was an add-on. It wasn't like part of the ticket. So that's like a difference there. Whereas this one, they were like, it's a free-for-all. I was lucky that my friend was able to run and get our seats because I would have been pissed because we had second or third row seats. So gets that done. Mind you, there's no food, no water. We're kind of being told that we may or may not be able to leave the place. It's kind of like they're not really explaining things to us. They're really only selling alcohol and water. And in terms of food, it's like popcorn. So we're just like, what are we supposed to do? It was getting to be really exhausted. We were getting hungry. It was tiring. The person, not the main woman who hosts, but the woman who came out to kind of like MC before everything got started was really rude. She was like, are you guys hungry? And we're looking at her like, yeah. And then she was like kind of rude it was kind of her tone of voice, how she said things. I at one point had to use the bathroom really badly. And I said to myself, okay, the first thing and mind you, they released a schedule. The schedule they didn't even follow. Okay, because they were already delayed with sound check. We were told that after sound check, I think the first thing that was supposed to happen was the fan meet. I didn't have tickets for the fan meet. So I get up and I'm like, hey, am I going to have enough time to do the bathroom? I don't have fan meet. I really need to use the restroom. So they're like, yeah, sure. So I ran to go use the accessible bathroom because I really was at the time, could not run up those stairs. I was like, I have to go now. I come out, and mind you, we don't really have much good service, and my phone was on Do Not Disturb because I didn't want my parents to be calling or anyone to be calling me while I'm like recording things. My friend was calling me because they instead decided to do high touch first. I was like, what do you mean? I could have, and mind you, some people, they were told that they had missed their opportunity to do high touch. Like, I think there were cases where like people were fighting with them to be like, hey, I'm going to the back of the line. I have high touch. They were like, no, you missed your chance because you weren't in your proper place. It was kind of crazy. The whole thing was kind of a mess. It wasn't really organized well. We lined up to do the photos, and mind you, so it's 4 of them. They were like, their sets of photos were like 4-1, 4-4, I think 10-4. So it was different group photos and all that. They told us as we were going up there that likelihood you were not going to take a photo with the person you were with. And we were like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. If I'm with 4 people, I'm going to take a photo with the 4 people I'm with. If I'm with one other person, you can freaking organize it where that happens. Either you have an uneven number or you're just... My friend grabbed on me to me, okay? We got our photo done. The photos weren't really well done. Like, we got them back late. We had to keep pestering them to send us our photos. And when we got them, they were so zoomed out. Because they were trying to keep the background. It pissed me off. And I remember going through and looking at other people's photos. They talk about, you know what really made me angry? And I was like angry more for this group than anything else. There's literally a photo of Jung, and he's kind of like sitting like this. His arm is, he's like laying against his arm on his hand. with his arm on his knee. Like, he was kind of done with it. Like, he didn't want to keep doing this. They were all visibly angry. I was wearing the Jung Dug shirt, and I was really excited because obviously they were my favorite couple, and I got to be on the side where they were sitting. And Dunk very sweetly put his hand against mine for a heart, even though we weren't supposed to touch them. But I was like, fuck that. You could tell they were all over it. He was trying to be nice as he could be, but I could tell by his reaction and how he kind of reacted. Like, he was kind of over it before it even started. And it didn't help that one of them was like really, really fucking sick. So very clearly they weren't, I don't know if they were accommodating him well enough, but it's the fact that they were super delayed. The delayedness wasn't because he was sick. The delayedness was because of them. So it like adds on to the fact that he wasn't feeling well. I have videos of me doing the high touch, and I will give this the first. I think I fell in love with him a lot at that moment because he was so sweet. He was pushing through, and I just could not believe that he would do that for his fans. Like, if he had been like the way that I saw that he was sick afterwards, I don't think I would have been so angry if he decided not to do it. So we get through. Me and my friend ended up leaving during all the like events because we were like they just had to do fan meet last, which. Okay, we found out later. So we got signed posters. Like, me and her, I got the signed poster like pre-signed. So we didn't get to meet them like that. We did get to meet them, but we didn't get to like sit there. They were rushed through the fan sign, and they were told, "Hey, you can get your name put on your poster." They didn't write down anyone's name. So what was the point of doing that? What was the point of having a fan meet if you're not going to personalize the poster? The show was just a glorified concert. They performed all the songs from the show, which is like 4 or 5 of them. The questions they were asked, I feel like Jung and Dunk might be the one who like knows English the best. So there were times where like they had a guy up there to translate some of the questions into Thai, and he wasn't even fucking doing it. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, what the fuck is going on? This show was a mess. It got delayed. We left an hour late, and here's the fucked up thing. So the guys were amazing, the way they performed. There were so many fun videos that I took. I have concert videos. I'm going to post a lot of these videos, probably all of them when we release this episode. I might kind of scatter them here and there. So we ended the show at around, I think, almost 7 o'clock. And they still had to do high touch for Zone A, for like the general admission. There was still benefits that had to be finished. The Polaroids, they took fucking forever to print them out to the point where they had to mail them to some people. And I found out later that some of the people they mailed it to, there was no cover on them. They didn't put any protection. It just was like put in like an envelope and sent out. Mind you, these were Polaroids people were paying like, I think $65 for. Thank God I didn't pay for one. So funny enough, Lilia, this show was the same day as the Rose concert. Remember that? I think I told you about this. So it was the day of the Rose concert. There were people who were at the show. Mind you, this was a busy weekend because it was, I think, Heart Killers. 80s was the night before or the day after, and then the Rose was that night. I had tickets for the Heart Killers and for 80s. 80s was the next night. I did not go to the Rose because that was like too much for me. There were people there who had VIP for the Rose. Mind you, we're an hour away from Madison Square Garden by train. I was like, and here's the thing, the timeline we were given, they should have been able to leave with enough time to get there with no issue. I'm sure people were running to get to this place on time to make sure they didn't miss their show. And that was peeving me off. I just don't understand, like, Starstruck Media, I think they're like a podcast. I don't know if they're like they're like a social media type thing like us, where they review things. They mostly interview. I did not understand why they were given so many chances to do, like, these fan meets. Because here's the thing. I don't have a photo. We're going to do The Boy Next World. I feel like we're still debating when we're going to do it. Maybe in June. I don't know yet because we're going to do like a whole Love in the Air, or I guess Boss Noel for Pete month. Boss and Noel had done a Boy Next World fan meet. The woman who runs Starstruck Media was the like MC for that. But Starstruck didn't run that show. And that show was done 10 times better. And do you want to know what's crazy? I have to look this up. Hold on. So the Heart Killers was on July 12th. Boss and Noel was July 18th. Boss and Noel had done a show in LA the week before. And I had met someone who was part of like the Boss and Noel fan club who was at the LA show, who came to the next show. She was telling us, me and my friend who went, oh yeah, we were hearing all the horror stories from LA of what was going on in New York. You know you fucked up bad if another fan me that, by the way, again, she was hosting that exact fan me. The woman who Starstruck Media was hosting the Boss No One. The fact that the fan club member was telling us that, oh yeah, we were hearing about all the shit that went, that's how you know it was bad. I was so peeved off. I was so angry. I spent all that money. The only good thing was all the, like, besides the boys, with the fans, we got so much cute merch. I have on my phone, it's covered by my, sorry, I know that made a noise. It's covered by my phone case, but I have like a Good Morning Khub sticker. Oh, I didn't say that earlier. Oh, I forgot something. Good Morning Khub. That's like a line that Styles says on the show. It's like so funny. I cannot believe I forgot that. It's so iconic. I'm saying that now, but this lovely girl gave us a bunch of like Good Morning Khub. She made like a ton of them to the point where we were helping her give them out. I still have like an extra one that I have one in my sticker book and then an extra one that's not used and then one on my computer. It's like my favorite sticker. It was so funny. He said it during the fan meet, which, considering how things were going, I'm surprised he even did it, because I wouldn't have, considering how peeved off I would have been. But I digress. Was like all the cute merch we were given by fans. That was the other thing. I don't know. I don't think they sold merch for the Earth Mix Chris Santos thing they did in LA. I would hope for Pon Puin and William East and the Like in concert they bring merch to sell. But we got a lot. I got like a lot of like freebies. I still have a lot of them. I gave out freebies. That was like part of the fun, was meeting other BL fans. That's what I'm hoping for the next fan beat. But Starstruck was just not great. It was so disappointing. My picture did not look great. My picture for Boston Melt was 10 times better because they actually cared. They just were like, let's get this over with. And it was so disappointing. And I hope, unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to get, I don't want to say we'll never get the four of them together, because who knows, maybe they'll do another fan meet here, but I don't think we'll get the four of them together anytime soon coming down here. I could see maybe First Cow coming because they have a show. Jun Dunk's doing a show right now, but considering their focus is on like me and thee, it would be a while before we get those four back. But it's gonna be separate. I would love another chance to get another, like, a better photo with them or whatever, because it was just so sad. Like, I still have my poster. I want to get it framed, but it should have been better, and it's do better. And I'm really happy that GMM, I think, is listening to the people and is not associating themselves with Starstruck Media to do the Pon Poo and William East event, and they're not participating in the Lycan event. She might host it. I mean, I can't say that she's not going to be fully part of it, because she did host the Boston one, but as long as they're not the ones running it. I'm a little mad at how it's been today, but as long as they're not running it. I had to give that little rant because it is such a part of this series that it just, It makes me sour. I will say that the fan club for, that's what I forgot. Sorry. So fan clubs are a thing for this stuff, right? So when we went, we got little gifts from the fan club people. They gave us like a little flag that said Heart Killers. I cosplayed, by the way. I put like the hat. I got a bowling shirt that kind of looked exactly like the burger shop quirt. And I had the pin and everything. So I was like, it was me and a bunch of other people like wore the shirts and everything. So they gave us cute little flags that said Heart Burgers, which is the name of the restaurant, and then napkins that had Jung's face from the scene in episode 2. That scene. I have a pile because they just gave out one napkin per person, and then by the end I kept grabbing them, and they had 2 packs left, and I was like, can I have them? They're like, yeah, sure, take them, no one else is. So I gave one to my friend and I kept the other one. I still have them wrapped, so that was really sweet. But the other peeved off thing, so mind you, like I said earlier, Zone A still had to do their high touch. They had these photo area, like a photo thing you could take a picture in front of. They took it down when we were taking photos with it. Literally, the show had ended. We were just asking for like 2 minutes for everyone to get their photo, and they started taking it down. They kicked us out. Mind you, they still had a bunch of people in there who were doing a high touch who may have wanted to take photos. So again, another reason why this peed me off. They almost didn't let us back into the venue with the food that we bought at the venue. And it's like, no, we paid money for this. It's just like the whole day was so sour. I'm really so angry. I'm still so angry. But it's like, whatever. At least the Boston one was better. But yeah. I guess now it's time to do Song of the Week. That was a long rant, wasn't it? It was worth it. I don't care. Listen, if Starstruck Media is listening, and you're not, because I know you're not, do better. Just work on it. You should be learning from your mistakes, or just don't participate in these fan meets. I mean, you guys said you're going to, but if you're going to bring, my fear is them bringing my favorite couple from like Domandi or something, like, do better, work better. There have been so many complaints. There's to the point where if, again, people in our LA were talking about this. If the fact that even now, whenever another fan meet is announced, you're still getting shit for it, I really hope you take in consideration everyone's complaints and do better next time. Because it's not fair to the fans, and it's also not fair to the artists who are finally getting their opportunity to spend time with international fans. Because here's the thing, I know these Thai actors go everywhere because I've seen them go to Japan, they're going to Spain, Mexico, they're going to all these places. I think this is one of the few times that we've actually had fan meets here, and it's just really sad that it just wasn't great. So yeah. So my song of the week, I think I got everything out. My song of the week is obviously going to be Destroy Love by Cow Tongue. There's so many songs to choose. So I think all 4 of them had a solo song, but Destroy Love is the one that like I listen to the most. So it's going to be that one because it's just catchy. I loved when he performed it live. It was so good. And yeah, so I guess we're going to end it there. I'm going to end it with another Good Morning Crowd because I did talk about it earlier. It's so iconic. We're going to name it that. The episode's going to be named that. I love that. And yeah, bye everybody. All right, guys, that's it for this entry. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media accounts. On Twitter, you can find us at FG Diaries Pod. On Tumblr, TikTok, and Instagram, you'll find us at FG Diaries Podcast. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hope you all have a wonderful fangirly day.